Already, I hope this isn't too loud. Or too quiet. So what I'm trying to do here is record through a microphone so that you can get the audio, because the screen recorder won't record the game audio. The only thing that I can't get with this setup is you can't see my sticks or any representation of them. So as you can see, I'm just trying to take this nice and slow. Alright, so you can see that my direction of travel is this little round circle with the little 3 points in a triangle going into the red circle. And you can see that I'm not pointing where I'm going. So just to clarify, I have to mostly change direction with my main engine, which means I need to rotate to both cancel my velocity in the direction of travel and generate a velocity in the desired direction of travel. So this craft does have thrusters in all 6 axes, all 3 directions of motion. However, only the main engine has a significant amount of power. So you may have noticed that the other boats have a ring around them. And what's going on there is that's a huge reaction wheel, which is what gives you such a responsive roll axis. So this game is called Orbital Racer, and I'm using my 6-axis controller so that all of my 6 directions of rotation and thrust are on joysticks. And I have another video where I show this. Almost crashed right there. So you might be wondering why I'm driving so slow. And that's because I'm just terrible at this game. So if you look, you can see that there's a vertical and horizontal compass. And there's a red line, and that's where the next gate is. And there's a small green line, and that's where the other gate after that is. And there's an arrow, a green arrow, and that's where I am headed. That's my direction of, that's my velocity. That's my vector. So if you line up your vector on both of those compasses to the target ring, then you don't actually need to see where you're going. You can just point those arrows up and down and left and right, and then you should be able to find the next gate. But I find it to be quite challenging. I like to see where I'm going, and so I rely heavily on all of the scenery, and then I can have a nice visual guide based on where the scenery is as to where I'm going and how my vector is changing. My objective here is just to kind of show some of this game here, because it's a crucial game for me to use my homemade game controller. There isn't very many games that let me drive 6-axis space navigation. Everything about this game is pretty much exactly what I would be looking for, except I would actually want additional features. I would want more game that works exactly like it. So there's nothing I would change about these race maps and how the racing works. I would just maintain. I just got hit or something. I don't know what happened. I kind of spun out. And you see the little circle with a crosshair in it occasionally, and that's actually exactly the opposite of where I'm going. So you see right there, there's the little circle with the crosshair on it. And that's how I know I'm going exactly backwards. So if I want to stop, then I can just go exactly backwards. So there is a reverse thruster, but again, it's not very powerful. So it's kind of a high skill maneuver to make really use of it. Here, I'll use it a little bit. So I'll talk about the sounds really fast. You hear all these sounds. One of them's like a motorcycle. Or you might not hear it, I don't know, but that's actually the fuel pressurization pumps. It pressurizes the fuel system, so when you use a lot of thrust, the pumps need to fire up in order to recharge the pressure in the fuel system. And then you hear the reaction wheel humming when I rotate. It's a huge reaction wheel, so of course it's got some resistance to the rotation. And then you hear that spinning down. That appears to be related to the pumps as well. But it's hard to say what's going on with all these sounds. But they are all supposed to be actual sounds that you would hear in this race boat. Alright, and there's the finish. So now I'm no longer driving. The autopilot has taken over. It's going to go park me. So I hope this sound worked out, and I'm going to go review my footage and see if the test is satisfactory.